And do you guys know the Mafia lands that they would used to do with Smash and the Dota guys? Beyond the Summit Mafia lands, bro. If you guys know what that is, Mafia lands for COD would be hilarious.
Sending a stall over towards A. Heretics will find their push over towards the B side, of course. JpKrez find a couple of kills already though, and for looking up.
Appreciate you filling us in on COD background knowledge. No problem, dude. That's what I'm here for.
Oh my god. It's just laughable at times. Shotzi finds a couple, slows Heretics down immediately. In Optic Texas, I've got some mid-map control. Heretics now. They'll have to slowly fight their way through this one, and they're slowly finding their way over towards the safe side. Find a kill at Shotzi. Door is very much open.
Sub you in for Pred? Yeah, for sure, my guy. We'll get you on the contract right away.
Start to the round, but they're turning around very, very quickly. Optic have to get here very, very fast.
Those are clean shots as well. Man, I'm telling you, Lucky is an absolute monster. He's been playing incredibly well the past few stages. He's had himself a strong year as well. You've already got 2 ticks on the zone. He's got a trophy.
JP, I see that the guitar behind you would be wild if you played some tunes. Yeah, that would be wild. That's crazy.
Shut down the A push. Extra bodies on the jump.
What's up, Chrisify?
This is just an interesting.
Day's been chill. I'm trying to chill even more if the sun comes out, but we've been watching this weekend's matches back. So I have to deal with internet trolls all day. Hey, isn't that just the internet in general though? I guess every streamer has to deal with it. Hey, I appreciate the support though. The numbers have been popping today. I don't know, I guess no one else is streaming. It's a lot easier with the viewership if like someone like Seth or Nate isn't streaming, so appreciate you guys for tuning in. How do the short contracts work? I mean, they're just signed to 2-week contracts. How'd you become an optics analyst? I started working tracking stats for the league about 10 years ago. Got an internship with MLG because I lived near the offices. Got connections at MLG. Started working at the events as like a stats producer in the back end. And I was just going to all the events, so I kind of like knew a lot of people. Plus I was getting more known on like Twitter because I was constantly tweeting stats. And then finally, once the CDL started, I got an offer from New York to join. And then from there, before MW2, I joined Optic. Wait, chat. I don't know if you guys saw, but if you want to see on Twitter, I posted the, I think it was Kevy brought up the 18-year-old JP picture. 18-year-old JP. My first esports job when I was working at MLG at the offices. Look how young I look. This is babyface 18-year-old JP, freshman year of college. Next to Mr. X and Ben. Bro. Babyface. That's crazy. It's almost 10 years ago now.
Opportunity here. A little bit of mid-map control.
What does making more accessible mean? Just easier for people to view things. Looks like the smartest kid in the room, bro. I looked so young there. Holy shit. That was before I even had like a stubble or a beard. Babyface is crazy. Bro, if I shaved fully right now, I'd probably just look almost like that, dude. If I fully shaved, I look like I'm 16 straight up.
Not lucky. 150 HP, 1 gunfight to win, but well, we already know how good Dashy's shot is, so able to make sure he had him trapped. But again, all things considered, pretty strong round there out of Miami. Get 2 extra tick over towards A.
We deploy all data content via R and Shiny at the company, and I love it. That's what I use.
Again, just wanted to
Dashboards and stuff that I make are through R and Shiny. I've thought about like learning more JavaScript and putting it on a website instead, but I'm like, dude, all I need is there in Shiny. Like, I don't need to. And at a certain point, I'm just like, I might as well just keep getting good at what I know than to expand to something I don't need to expand to. You know what I mean? Hex give you a chain yet? No, not yet. We haven't got our chains yet. JP, how many times would you generally rewatch matches after you... And do you find you rewatch the matches of top 4 teams back more and bottom teams? I'll rewatch matches back Like if it's our match, I'll rewatch it that night back. But if it's other matches, I'll rewatch them during the week. Now compared to top 4, not necessarily. I'll watch everything like once back. But when we actually prepare for a team, like we're playing that team, I'll watch their more, if that makes sense. So only really if I'm focused on preparing against that team specifically, or preparing before an event, will I watch that specific team more. But like I'll watch it generally after it happens, it's sometime during that week, but then once we actually start playing them, I'll watch it again. Or all of that team stuff again. Mostly just recent stuff, like I won't go 2 stages back. You know what I mean? So do I need to learn OCR too? I think the website development is at the end of the course of my doing. I think website development should be the last thing you need to do. OCR is probably number 1 for capturing data. No scrim today? No teams are scrimming today. It's a day off. We start back up tomorrow. Were you a wizard at calculus? No. What is one thing you love and hate being about a coach, if any? I mean, I love just being in the room, helping the players get the most out of themselves and having some sort of impact to help them, either whether strategically, analytically, emotionally, whatever, to get the best out of them. I think that's a cool way to have an impact. And what do I hate? I hate the stress and pressure that comes with watching matches where you have absolutely zero effect once they spawn in. It's like having your hands tied behind your back and you're forced to watching like your favorite team. It's just, I mean, again, you have no impact once the server actually begins, you know?
Have to cognitively switch their brain into a different language that, again, they have experience with, but on the year unaccustomed to. I mean, Heretics right now, these players are just simply working overtime. It is a very difficult spot, but I think my favorite thing about the listen-in is when they switch the language to English, they cuss in English too. Honestly, it tickles me. It's great.
Their English is not better than mine, so very well done.
It would be cool if the coaches were like Halo and you guys were involved on the stage with the team.
Very quickly.
I think it would be cool if we had timeouts in like S&D and control. I think it would be cool. Other than that, I think, again, I've said this so many times on stream, but I think there's such a big skill gap when it comes to making decisions and calming in Call of Duty specifically, that having that extra voice eliminates that skill gap to a certain effect. And in my opinion, it's a really big skill gap in Call of Duty, and especially at the high level Call of Duty. Can I talk during the game? No. I don't understand why we don't have at least like one timeout in search or control though. I think that would be cool. Especially now that they can pause in the middle of rounds for round-based game modes. I don't see why not.
It's a hard break from this position. Nobody gonna get anything through dark as well. You can see
what should my end goal to be able to do with Python to become an analyst? Just be able to comfortably work, well, first capture and work with data. If you want, you can capture data with Python, and if you want to learn R, you can work with it there. But that's, you know, now you have to learn 2 different languages. They're a little bit similar in some cases, but they're not similar in other ways. It's a, you know, there's a lot of work that has to come with it. Use timeouts to ice them like the NFL? Yeah, straight up. Yeah. I think it'd be a cool dynamic. But I don't know if we would ever get it. How is your role adapted for having Ray to solo than Damon? I feel like with Ray I was doing stuff that I was still doing in New York, which isn't like necessarily a bad thing. I was still doing the same amount of work. And then once I got solo, it was a little bit more of like kind of it was just a little bit more workload in all areas and a little bit more admin stuff, like administrative stuff for the CDL. And now I kind of feel like I do similarly the same stuff. Obviously Damon, with being Damon in the call, it's a little bit less work for me, but there's still more of a focus for me in other areas now. So it's not like my work has decreased. It's just now that I have the time, I can focus on other areas.
Still dies. Right on the full spray cruise missile already in the back pocket. Optic Texas.
How do pros determine the meta when a new game comes out like BO6?
So solid right now. Lives
You just try and figure out what's good, and if you start losing gunfights to a certain weapon and they have different attachments, you start using that gun, and it just becomes a meta of like, okay, what's the best gun at this point? You can look at the stats, you can look at whatever, but at a certain point you're just gonna be like, okay, this is the one that rules them all, you know? So it happens pretty quickly. Within like the first day, you pretty much start seeing the
The game 21-10. Fred, for him, you expect nothing less.
How do you think the meta is going to work for BO6 with how many weapons from previous Contra games being in the game? I have no idea. Just because they're the guns from the previous titles doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be same balance and everything. It's very, I mean, it's way too early.
Showed a little bit of fight, but that was just about it. Optic Texas locked the game in.
How would a person go about trying to join a challengers team? Do they need a team to enter?
All around for the major threat. Dominant.
I thought the best thing that you could have done was the BPL 8 stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how popping that is now. But I think like the BPL 8s were a great area to actually get your foot in the door for challengers based stuff. You kind of just have to climb the ladder. Start finding a team. If you find teams that you're scrimming against or find other players you think they're better than your current teammates, you kind of try and work your way up the ladder there. That's just what everyone's done ever since like the beginning of Call of Duty competitive. Yeah, network yourself, basically. Get yourself known. Would love a 3-gun meta again? I would too. I think 3-gun metas are always the perfect balance. Thanks for the answer. No problem.